So this is a demo of SkinDeep.AI beta. SkinDeep.AI loads up. We see faces, and we can swipe on faces we like and faces we don't like. These faces are automatically generated using a GANs model. They're generated from the latent space. Every facial composition is possible, more or less. They are semi-randomly generated. They're generated as you swipe. The preferences become closer to your preferences. Sometimes you get little variations. And once you're done swiping on images you've liked, you can hit generate, and it will generate a image that represents what you've been swiping like. Now, if you don't think this is a good image of what you've been swiping, you can simply go back and further refine the matches. So the system is going to generate more matches relative to what it thinks you might like, with some added variation. So there's some variation added intently. That variation can be adjusted, and I think I'm going to need to adjust that down the road. But for the most part, you're getting faces that are more feminine than masculine, and over time it's going to just get better and better. So I'm purposely trying to build a particular style of face right now, and I can generate my ideal match, so it's getting closer. I can then refine in and keep going, and the more I swipe, the more I train the algorithm, and it's going to over time learn my preferences or what I'm desiring, or whatever. I can train old faces, I can train young faces, I can train genders, I can train, in this case I'm trying to generate a particular face that I have in my mind. And there we go. It's moving closer and closer towards the ideal face that I have in my head. Essentially, I'm swiping on faces that I'm attracted to, and it is trying to see those insights, and it's generating the ideal face based on those insights. So there's a GANs model, and then there's an AI model on top of that that's interpreting your swiping styles to build a result. And yeah, this can be applied to many different industries. It can be applied to artistic generation. In the future, perhaps music generation. It can be applied to 3D models. It can be applied to music. Well, I think I mentioned that, but it can be applied to makeup, swiping on makeup that you like, or the analytics I gather from the public database can be used to allow a person to upload their own photo and have that be rated by the system automatically, so you don't need humans to rate a photo. Once the labeling has been done by a group previously, you can infer your rating that way. It can also be used for dating, so you can show your preference, and the algorithm will be able to find real faces in the database that meet your particular preference and make a match, so that individuals who may want to retain their privacy to the large extent of the public only need to reveal their actual photos to those they make a direct match with. And so that's a mutual match. Both partners found each other attractive based on the AI model they've trained. And Then there is, this concept can be applied to unsupervised data models. So let's say I train an AI model on books or GitHub code. A supervisor can simply rate code or rate books or rate stories or movies or whatever based on their preference. And the AI can use that knowledge to rate other real examples, or it can be used to generate examples artificially that are the ideal of what that person selected. So although a piece of music or a photo or a piece of code or a book may not be better than a B plus in the real data set, the artificial data set will be able to generate a plus representation of what you have in your mind based on that. So surpassing what is real and creating perfection that is still realistic. So this particular face I have open is generative, but it is a real looking face because it has had a adversarial discriminator. A discriminator essentially ensure that the model that was generated is looking real. So this is a technically feasible face, let's say. And the more I swipe, the more angel-like it might become, to the point where it will look truly perfect, maybe too perfect. But that's kind of exciting. If this is being applied to music, for example, you could create the perfect song for yourself, something that no human could actually do, but it was generated from that imperfect data set representing music. So this, I think, is an exciting concept. I've tried to provisionally patent as much of this as I can, from low-level algorithms to high-level concepts and applications and methods. Maybe about 40 pages worth of provisionals. And I also see how computationally intensive this is. So to run this model on a server, I am powering with an NVIDIA GPU. So it is doing the generation of the photos in real time. I'm trying to optimize a balance between cached images and on-demand generative images. Even the model that is used to define what generative images should be created is an extra level of computation. And so this is truly a forward-thinking business idea, forward-thinking method of designing and generation, of building. It's very exciting. It's not really accessible to the vast majority of the public, largely because the models themselves that require mass data and mass training, like the scans model, is out of reach of most people at the moment. It requires maybe 8 NVIDIA GPUs or more to generate this in a reasonable time, and each domain and R&D needing to explore those domains will only compound that time requirement and cost, and upfront cost. That will gradually come down over the next decade, of course, to the point where things like images will be trivial. We might be generating music and videos instead in 10 years, but it will be a revolution. And I would like to pursue this idea, pursue this across many domains, and pursue more challenging domains as well.